Silas Kareku, Labe 1, Real FM 91.9, 91.5, and all who follow Real FM on the social media platforms. Morning, friends, critics, cynics, morning all. The first read this morning comes from Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 29. I'm reading from the New International Version. He gives strength to the weary and increase power to the weak. The Ancient of Days may not immediately or miraculously change our difficult circumstances. However, He gives us the power, He gives us the will to face whatever is in front of us at any given moment. Are you struggling or suffering, folks? God gives us fresh supply of spiritual, supernatural strength to those who rely on Him, those who depend on Him. Whenever we try to do things on our own, we fall short, unable to bear whatsoever burden we have to bear. But Ancient of Days has promised us strength and power beyond our own. So we have to learn to rely on Him. We have to learn to practice letting our mind find comfort, joy, and peace in the Ancient of Days. And the quintessential thing to achieve those is prayer. Prayer is the communication between us and the Ancient of Days. We communicate with Him. As the book says, a father pitieth his children, so the Ancient of Days pitieth those that fear Him. So once we fear Him and we pray to Him and we be thankful and have gratitude for all the blessings He bestows on us, and once we leave our burdens at the feet of the Ancient of Days, He is able and willing to help us, and He will be helping us. So folks, here we subscribe to a higher power, supernatural power, the Ancient of Days. And we cannot do things on our own strength or our own understanding. And He gives us strength. He gives strength to the weary. And He increases power to the weak. So when we feel weary and weak, we have to find solace in the Ancient of Days. We have to go there and renew our strength. When we wait on Him, He'll renew our strength. He'll give us energy to and strength to overcome what our circumstances might be. Sometimes we see, well, we pray and then not immediately things happen, but everything happens in the fullness of time as it relates to the Ancient of Days. His understanding is way above us. What we have to do is to trust and believe in Him. Pray, communicate with Him, give thanks and show gratitude to Him. And He will help us because He is able so to do. Folks, we need to understand something here. That the Ancient of Days, the Creator of mankind, from the foundation of the earth, had a plan for mankind. And once we subscribe to Him and yield to Him, body and soul, then He'll walk within us. We need not contradict Him. We need not question Him. Because everything happens in His time. The fullness of time belongs to the Ancient of Days. And leaning on our own understanding, our own concept, will not get us where we ought to be. But recognizing the Ancient of Days is the supreme being, the supreme creator, all knowing, no one with Him, beside Him, or together with Him. We ought to surrender, yield to Him, not only in words, in our body and soul, in our deeds, our thoughts, and our actions. And it is also important for we as a people to understand that. So many times we fight like my grandmother used to say, river can never fight with sea. And sometimes we try to fight with the Ancient of Days. by saying we don't need him when we need him every breath, every second. And he has promised us strength beyond our own, only if we rely on him. And putting it into practice is the object here. Putting your mind into practice to be comforted in joy and peace of the Ancient of Days, folks. So I want us to understand that we serve a living God, and he is able, well capable, to help us through whatever we're going through. So I want us to be very aware of that, folks. I will give you a quotation here. Life has a much bigger plan for you. Happiness is part of that plan. Good health is part of that plan. And stability is part of that plan. Constant struggles is not. And I got that from Chris Carr, the author of that. So, what it says, in the whole context of life, which has a bigger plan for each and every one of us, being happy is part of that plan. Some might say happiness is a state of mind. But being happy, being in good health, is a state, is part of that part planned. And yes, stability is part of that plan. Constant struggles, upheaval, chaos, anarchy is not part of that plan. And folks, today, I want to zero in on stability as it relates to the context of this country, as it relates to the context of governance of the new National Party. And I just want to break down the word stability, the state of being resistant to change and not prone to fluctuations in emotions, and being calm, stable, where you don't have these up and down upheavals. And I want to add the word security, the state of being free from danger or threat. Now, the NNP, as a party, been in governance for the time it has, recognizing stability is the linchpin, is what it takes to achieve growth of the economy, one, and allow people to thrive in a country. As one would put it, no children cannot flourish in a war zone. And in recognition that stability is also important, the new National Party in governance has invested in the security organization so charged with the responsibility of security. One wise man put it that way: the fear of crime is worse than crime itself. What it means, if you living in fear that something would happen, crime would visit you every day of your life, it is worse than even crime visit you one time in your lifetime. And recognizing that, the new National Party has invested in the Royal Grenada Police Force, the organization so charged with the security of the country. In so much as during the tenure of the new National Party, we have over 1,000 police officers. And during the tenure of the new National Party, over 850 persons has been enlisted in the RGPF. And that is a fact that is irrebuttable. That lends to, one, job creation. So to the cynics, the critics and the naysayers that have been peddling that view that the NNP has done nothing for Grenada as it relates to stability, security of this country, the NNP has invested in the RGPF. The NNP has ensured that the RGPF has received the requisite training in a moving environment where crime has become more sophisticated. And to match that, the requisite training has been given to the RGPF. in all areas in recognition that stability is needed in this country. In recognition that through stability and the security of this country, we could have job creation. Over 850 persons has been enlisted in the RGPF during the tenure of the New National Party. And that is a fact. Even if you don't like it, it's not something you could argue with. So people know they could be comfortable. You could go about your daily routine knowing that there will be minimal fluctuation in emotion, minimal fluctuation in up and down, and the country will remain stable. And folks, what you must get here as it relates to stability. Stability ensures that the enabling environment in the country is there. So businesses could thrive. We could attract investors, both local and foreign, and they could rest assured that they are safe. Safety of its citizens. The RGPF has an unmatched track record within the region of crime detection. And that is a spin-off of the fact that the New National Party has, one, ensure that the RGPF is properly staffed, two, ensure that they receive the requisite training, and three, all the incentives are given in terms of benefits, in terms of allowances, in terms of salary increases, yes, and in terms of receiving salary on time. And even during the pandemic, there were no job losses within the RGPF, and that speaks volumes. There was no cutting back and saying, well, the situation was of such that we have to let some men go, and so on. As a matter of fact, in recognition of the stability and the smooth running of the country, the wardens have been an integral part of the whole setup. That again speaks to job creation. So I'm here to present basically the facts. I have no spin on the facts. I'm bringing it to you just as it is. As one would say, colloquially, I'm like parang. I don't add in, I don't take it out. I just bring it so. And in recognition of stability and the importance of stability for our country, importance of the citizens need to be comfortable moving up and down and across the country. In recognition that stability enables an enabling environment for growth of the country, for growth for the economy. Stability ensure that the plans and program to assist all the greater good for the greater number, to help keep the safety net programs. Stability helps the economy to grow so it could be continued. To help continue to give increases in salary, stability helps the economy to grow so that could be facilitated. So stability of our country is also important, and a New National Party has kept this country stable, unprecedented in the history of this country. You could check every other administration. You don't have to take my word for it. Go and check every other administration in this country and check the record of stability, unmatched and unprecedented. So those who say nothing has been done in the country, whether tangible or intangible, stability enables this country to grow. And that is what the New National Party is about. So when I come here and I speak of the New National Party, and I speak of the fact that we should support and vote the New National Party, I'm not just here speaking because I have a platform to speak. But during it all, I'll enable to bring evidence to show you that the NNP is worthy of being returned to office. And stability help the growth of the economy. And when stability helps the growth of the economy, we have reduction in unemployment. Stability help attract partners, investors. Stability has helped the economy to grow so we could have, the government could live within its means. The government could take care of its own, govern and bring benefits to the people, could reduce unpaid claims in the treasury, putting monies back into local businesses. Stability ensures that the economy grows so we could have increasing capital expenditure. That is why you're seeing a lot of roads being done. Schools, hospitals, and the healthcare is being improved. Projects that is creating jobs, improving the life and livelihood of the ordinary man. The greater good for the greater number. And I hear say, all the beat up by the naysayers, the cynics and the critics on the health system, this NNP administration has ensured that there's so much improvement that in recent times, even the critics don't have much to say. Because if they had much to say, I hear they're beating up it on social media. They too, by the fact that they're not saying much, as acknowledge that this administration has done plenty for the health system. Stability encourage investor confidence, which folks is at an all-time high, and that is manifested by the projects, the mega projects we've seen. Stability that caused that. We talk about the Silver Sand project, the project in St. David, the one to start in St. Patrick's River, just to name a few. And stability is the linchpin because it caused the economy to be on a strong footing, and persons feel comfortable, persons feel safe, investors so feel it is a good place or a safe place or a stable place to invest my monies. Stability ensure that the economy grew to facilitate even the discussion of pension and gratuity, and in situation one of payments, and in situation the increase in salaries. So that is how important stability is, and that in recognition of that, the New National Party has invest in stability, in the security part of the stability, really RGPF. So over 850 persons have been enlisted during their tenure. Training, all areas, even equipments. We see fire trucks, we see the outfleeting of police stations with new and improved vehicles. So that is the testament that the New National Party is being proactive as it relates to stability. And that is what is the spin-off, and that is the contrasting thing. And that would be one of the issues in this coming election. One that has a track record of keeping the place stable, ensuring stability, and one what does not have a track record of that. One who does not know about stability, because within its own organization, stability abideth not. So it's a straight case here. So when one comes around and asks and say we need a change, do we want a change from being a stable place? That's the question it begs. Do we want a change for the economy is growing because stability and we are attracting foreign investors, we are attracting investment and projects is coming and jobs is being created? So we want a change from job creation because the National Democratic Congress cannot boast of a track record of stability, neither providing jobs. And all they talk about, we need a change. What change do we need? What change do we need is the question that need to ask. Stability ensured the economy was in a position that when the pandemic hit, no retrenchment took place. That cannot be said about other countries in the region. I'm just saying, by contrast, because many times the naysayers and the things like to contrast other countries with here. So I'm right within my realm to speak of. Stability ensured that hope was restored in this country when the new National Party was returned to governance. Opportunities was provided for thousands of our young people. The emphasis of the opposition now about young people time and now is our time. Now it's Grenada time. And Grenada consists of young, old, and middle class age. So everybody had to be part of the thing. And being a stable country as the NNP has caused Grenada to be, has enabled us to grow, to strive. And being a hard-working and united, and that is important here, the team or the government is a united government. And stability hinges on unity. So, folks, the new National Party has been doing. And if somebody asks, tell me one thing that the new National Party has done, I would put my hand up first and say stability. And they might not like the fact that I would say that. They will not have to argue about the fact about it. They cannot rebut it. And that is what at play here. So when the bell do ring, as they say, ring the bell, you have to understand the contrast. One person tried, tested, and proven stability. One you don't know if he's going to be. Try, tested, and proven the growth of the economy, job creation, job stability, as to one who's saying we need change. So if you have job creation now, stability in jobs, the economy growing, the only change you could have is you don't want the economy to grow, you don't want jobs to continue to be provided, you don't want to attract foreign investment. That is change. And when they speak of change, and even the fact that they say we want change, they're not in a position to say, okay, we want change, and here is whatsoever change we hope to bring. And the unity of the government has led to stability. Solving people first has led to stability. So that is the crux of the issue, folks. It's not about when one comes to you and say, we are ready, or it's time to do this and we need a change. We must be objective. It's not just saying the word change and we don't understand what it is. But listen, here is what at play. Stability is unprecedented. First time in the history of this country has been so stable. And then you asking for a change? Change what? To instability as you are accustomed to? No. And in recognition that the security part, the RGPF, plays such an important part in stability, like I mentioned earlier, on training of officers in every way, all areas. Even in some cases, the special victims unit has been created because we recognize we need unity, we need harmony for stability. So you see, the NNP in recognition of that is looking at everything, and the special victims unit. And then sometimes we have some cases that go cold and persons require justice and say nothing has been done. The cold case unit, which in recent times have been opening up some cold cases and bringing persons to justice, and all that is part of stability. As I mentioned earlier, the fear of crime is worse than crime itself, and the RGPF has been doing a lot in terms of putting allaying certain fears and enabling people are comfortable. And that is what you want from an organization. And that's what you want from a government who recognize the importance. And I would just here to mention, folks, I spoke of stability, and I would connect it to the fact that it would grow the economy. And when the economy grows, because we stable and we attract foreign investors and job is created, who benefits? We, the people. The greater good for the greater number. Who benefit? The village shops. Who benefit? The fisher folks, the bossmen, the small businesses, big businesses, and the ordinary man. And once the economy is growing, because we live in a stable environment, the government is able to take care of its citizens. The greater good for the greater number. The elderly, all the plans and programs for the elderly, and those means who cannot afford them. That is why we're able to do the building of the in-house plumbing in terms of the bathroom, in terms of assisting students who cannot pay for exam, in terms of assisting with school, traveling to and from school, in terms of providing gadget, tablets, and so on, which came in also handy during the pandemic, so we could have learning, e-learning, and so. And that is the hallmark of a government that cares for the people. That is the hallmark of a government that has the moral authority to ask you to support them. It's not coming and say, we're going to do that, and promising impossible promises. It's not a government that's saying, we're going to make every Imani permanent, when we know that can't happen. It's not a government who's trying to fool or tomfool people. It's a caring government. It's a government that knows what it's about. It's a government that has been tried, tested, and has delivered. Because we know, folks, performance beats old talk every day. Old talk remains old talk. Performance affects the lives and livelihood of people in a positive way. Performance gives comfort for the greater good, for the greater number. Folks, we'll take a break here and come back.
So the treasury broke and they say that recession jamming. So to foreign countries screening start migrating. They lose faith in the country, they say we gone down the drain. They say no more could we see happy times again. But the will to recover in my people like have confidence. Although many may seem to feel that I talking nonsense, but the majority are we decide we're not going to run, because now is the time to show we patriotism. For election time come back wrong, it's new ones we bring in. But if it's one thing about my people, I could guarantee that they would never ever put party before country. I know the country facing is dark, is sour, and our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, you have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try.
Yes, folks. We're back. We could make it if we try. To the listeners of CRFM, C Styles, Kareku, Real FM 91.9, 91.5, and all social media platforms. Morning again. Yes, folks. We could make it if we try. And our country need us. And the decision we make come next election will determine what direction the country goes. It will determine whether we want to continue on the path of growth and prosperity as against promises, against statements that is not factual, against instability and stability. It will determine the team of people we put in governance would be persons who working for the people against a team of people who trying to learn what to do. And we cannot place the country in the hands of persons who are not yet ready to make that step. And it is also important to understand it is not here about emotions. It is not here about who you like and who you dislike. It is here what is best for Grenada. Let's put it in this context that now is Grenada's time. And this election would not be an ordinary election. It would not be an election of business as usual. It would be one, the determination of the result would determine one. Firstly, how would Grenada move, or what direction would Grenada move to? It will determine if we continue on the path of prosperity and or changes, and what type of changes yet to be discussed. It would ensure that we as a people are mature enough to put country first. After the ancient of days, country. And if we think about putting country first, the logical decision based on the performance of the New National Party, tried, tested, and delivered, ought to be the choice. Now, I'm not saying that the New National Party is perfect. I'm not saying that all work is being done. A lot has been done. The direction the country is heading is in the right direction. There's a lot more work to be done, but the team assembled by the New National Party is quite capable, as proven. And the fact that they have the NNP in government have been tried, tested, and we could go through it. Ivan, MLE, the situation of 2013 had to bring back the economy back on foot. The pandemic. So it is a fact to say that the New National Party have been tried, yes, tested, and have been delivered. So it's not a mantra or a slogan. It is the bare fact. And folks, I don't expect that everybody in this country would be singing from the hymn, same political hymn sheet. But at the end of the day, it is about Grenada. It is about the country. It is about our children and our children's children. It is not about rhetoric. It is not about narrative. Because what you find happening here, friend, the truth is the fact that the NNP has delivered, even in tried and tested situations. The truth is that the National Democratic Congress is pushing a narrative. A narrative is not factual. A narrative is how they see things. But even if you sit and you look at it, see it for what it is. See it for what has been done. See it for answering the clarion call. Because when you as a people speak, the new National Party in government listens. And plans and programs are developed for you, the people. You be part of it. You are part of it. As one put it, for, of, and by the people. Narrative is how another person sees it from his side. So he say, and the narrative of the National Democratic Congress is simply, we need a change. Who is asking for the change? I don't hear the people asking for a change, but I hear the narrative. So one has to understand what is a fact. What is really happening as against what is the narrative of a few. And I was on this radio station here Friday, and I spoke in terms of some of the persons within the diaspora and the way they treat this country as an unwanted stepson or stepchild, and then turn around and ask the people to give me the opportunity to govern when every facet or everything about this country is so bad, worst place or not. That is their words. So that's their narrative of Grenada. But for many people who live here, and for those in the diaspora who come here from time to time, would understand that particular narrative is not factual. And we as a people have to understand what here is at play. And we cannot support a narrative that is not factual. We have to support what is a fact. Performance. And the NNP has performed. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of work to be done. And we being one family, we being the family, all have to come on board. And that is why I said this election is one that will be a very, very important election in the context of where we want to take this country, in the context of what we live in for our children and our children's children, in the context of the battle we hope to pass on. We cannot pass on one of discord. We cannot pass on one of instability. We cannot pass on one of insecurity. So when the NNP has stability, has never been in this country, has security, has never been in this country, ensuring that all of us have freedom. And even me, sometimes I find NNP has ensured so much freedom that some people go out of line and even use the social media platform and radio to spread CDJust vibes. Vibes that is not making sense. But we so enjoy that freedom that we could do it. That didn't so happen in other areas of this country. And that is a testament or testimony to the fact that NNP has performed and has create that enabling environment within the realm of stability so everybody could be themselves. And that is also important. As again, and the contrast to that, the Congress is asking for change. So I venture this question here. What you need to change? It is not a case where one comes and says, okay, that is being done and we hope to build on or make it better. We're just asking for a blanket change. And people, Grenada has gone through so much, even under the reign of the new National Party, in terms of disasters, pandemic, and yes, hurricane and the CWD economy. And NNP are able to put Grenada back on platform, put us back. Businesses are now thriving again. And business persons would tell you that the infrastructure and the construction industry is at an all-time high. And that speaks testimony, that speaks volumes. That means jobs are created, there's money in the economy, and persons are benefiting. Public workers could boast the fact that salary meets them on time. One might say, yes, it's an obligation of government. And I agree, but there are government here what could not guarantee the fact that salaries could be paid on time. And these are the same persons that now come asking for change. So you have to understand what here is at play. What are the guarantee that taking and they tell you take a chance and so forth, like this you see in Grenada context, taking a chance is not about you're going to play a game of bingo, lotto, or something like that. So if you lose, it don't matter to you. Putting Grenada out of the situation it is now by not voting back the New National Party in power, all of us would feel it. The greater good for the greater number enjoyed now by the ordinary man is not a given to the fact that the organization, or one of the main opposition organization, has not yet put its house in order, and that is instructive to note. Because if an organization cannot unite itself, even in opposition, should it reach in governance, then the question we ask, what is going on? The leadership or the leader of the National Democratic Congress, we don't know whose side would he be advocating for. Whether we the people, the ordinary people, as against big businesses which he's so comfortable and accustomed defending. Now, I'm not knocking him for doing that particular thing, but one has to ask the question here, when I vote, what is in it for me? And that is instructive to understand. So when we speak of an important election, it is not important in terms of just promises, words, and mantras. And I speak earlier on narratives. Because I want us to understand a narrative is basically the view of another person on the issue. So would the view of another person sway you to move away from your view or what you expect from a government or what you expect to happen in a country? And first and foremost, I always believe after the ancient of this country ought to be there. So it's not about emotions or party affiliation or someone put it, and some try to argue the fact it's nothing to do with age. It's all about competence. It's all about having a track record. It's all about the persons having the appetite to manage the affairs of a country, inclusive of all, not some. So when I speak of the greater good for the greater number, it's something inclusive. As one person put it, for, by, and of. And the New National Party, in its governance, has proven to us that it has what it takes. It is not perfect. There's things to be done. There's things to fix. But by and large, you could rest assured and have confidence. And I come back to stability, which is also important. No upheaval, and this person is being pushed out and so forth. And here we have an organization who is pretending to come and ask you for support and preaching this mantra of change. And one has to get this thing significant, Change, asking for change. To what? And pushing a narrative that nothing has been done by the New National Party in the face of all that has been done. Shows you the intent. And intention is very important, because if our organization could sit and see all that is being done, and persons feel all the effects that has been done, and then you still say nothing has been done, take note, the intent, and asking for change. And stability here has caused this country to attract persons, investment, and the job creating factor here, because as I spoke earlier, and within the realm of the RGPF, over 850 persons were enlisted. That's a part of job creation, the security of jobs. So when the whole talk about who is being made permanent and not permanent, and trying to bamboozle the manage and say you go make everybody permanent. You have to understand what here is at play. You have to understand what is reality and fiction. It is not about reading a novel here, friends. It is not happily ending after. Because by their fruits you shall know them. What they speak of. Because everything, like I always tell people, everything the New National Party has done for poor people, children, the main opposition, which is National Democratic Congress, has opposed it. But now, electioneering, they come with this concept about they'll do that and these grand promises and things. But promises, as against what is done, it is instructive to note. And I'm taking my time here and being painstaking to you, the listeners, to really understand we being one family and NNP recognize us as one family. So what is being done is for the greater good, for the greater number. What is being done is for positive transformation of lives and livelihood. And in recognition of that, plans and programs have been developed whenever the citizens of this country ask for things, when certain situation comes in. And we do have to go far back, as in the last budget, when we spoke of services in terms of basic food items, when we spoke of the cost of gas, the cost of electricity and so on, and a caring government as the New National Party answered the call. And that here is instructive to note, an excuse was not being made. Hope was restored. Because we knew what happened, and we have to speak of it because they speak of the NNP as doing nothing. But from 2008 to 2013, folks, we know nothing really happened. That is the qualifying part when nothing has been happening here. And the NNP, on return to governance in 2013, they had to restore hope, because hope was at all-time low. And then after hope was restored, we saw thousands of opportunity provided for young people, thousands of opportunity provided for people in this country. We saw persons being taken care of, the elderly, those who are among us means couldn't afford them. Things have been done for them. We recognize the increases in the seed program. And all that has been done for the people. And I'm listing them here. It's not a matter of speaking off or trying just to blow any trumpet, but that is to be factual. And that is to show you the in terms, and we used to always say, oh, we're beating up on the hospital and the health care here. And if we're really, really serious, we ought to give this government kudos for improvement in the health sector here. And if we are any citizen worth our salt and believe for love of country, we ought to commend the New National Party on the improvement of healthcare here. We have some ways to go, and I agree. And when I say the improvement in both in having what it takes, because the one time they were saying, oh, you don't even have a pan at all. But they are speaking now. And even in the infrastructure, in terms of the facilities, in terms of education, we've seen, in terms of the facilities. And all that is being done with challenges. All that has been done with challenges. So that shows a government at work, a government capable of taking care of its citizens, assembling a team of persons worthy of your support, worthy of your vote in the next election. A team of people that is hardworking and an inclusive bunch of people, serving the people, all servants of the people, and not a case where they come as rulers of the people, but servants of the people. And all that is being felt. And even though we take it from 2013 to now, all these things has been achieved. So it's not a case where NNP is coming and campaigning on a record of past and doing nothing. But we're just saying it like it is. Not putting no financial spin on it. Or putting any other spin. But look at the investor confidence in this country. Look at the mega projects. I mean, it's not something that one is speaking of and not happening. You could see. It is something to be seen. So folks, when I speak of and I speak here, I'm just simply laying out the facts and giving you information. Because the narrative of NNP has done nothing could be easily dismissed. So for those who conveniently forgot, and for those who claim they don't know, I'm here to, one, remind you, and two, to let you know. And that's what you need a government to do. So it's not about personalities. It's not about your emotions. But it's what is a fact. What is happening. The effect that is being felt by persons in the country. And go around. Look at businesses, thriving businesses. And contrast that to the period of 2008 to 2013. And it's a straight case that the NNP deserve your support. That deserve for you to continue to keep them in the seat of governance in this country. And that could be attested, and that could be, and persons have testified of the fact that they've seen improvement in their lives and livelihood. So be able to leave something or pass something on to their children and their children's children. The fact that we've seen more has been done for the elderly. We've seen more have been done for young people. We've seen more have been done. More jobs have been created. And that is a government at work. That is not a government who rests on its laurels. That is not a government who just there to be like rulers, but they are the servants of the people, ensuring. And persons, anytime you speak of salary on time, persons saying, oh, that's an obligation of government. Yes, I agree. But the National Democratic Congress during 2008 and 2013 could not say that they could have guaranteed that salary could be on time every time. They could not say that they could have find the revenues to pay salary without selling assets. And when you ask for love of country and you speak of love of country, you have to understand the New National Party has the capability. They have what it takes to continue the plans and programs, even through the pandemic. And we're not yet out of the pandemic, but we have seen increases in the safety net programs. So that's why the NNP has an idea of getting things done. The NNP have an idea of how to run country. The NNP have an idea of letting people know, okay, the greater good for the greater number. And we as a government, we as a party in government will ensure that lives and livelihood will be taken care of and looked after in a positive way. And every situation, sometimes it take a little longer to treat with. And we were speaking of, okay, contract workers and young people cannot approach financial institutions because then, but the NNP has ensured that the program with the GDB is one where these people are them, the same thing what we were asking for and saying could not happen is happening right before your eyes. And the detractors, the cynics and the naysayers still saying, oh, but it's still not permanent. But the NNP being a caring government, you think a caring government will cause people to take this type of monies and not ensure that they stay in the job? Come on. Think of it, people. So in everything we see, and I yet to understand why most things has been done for the greater good, for the greater number, and I'll put it blunt here, for poor people, children. And the organization of the National Democratic Congress always seems to find fault and wastage. And they call it wastage, things that have been done for poor people, children. But they tell you, we go make every Imani permanent. And one asks them, so where you go find the resources? They say, you cut back on wastage. But it's a simple case. If you call every plan and program for poor people, children, wastage, and then you say we go make every Imani permanent because we cut back on wastage, it is clear or it's easy to assume that you're going to cut out all these things. So, and here, persons, you have to understand when this election time come and you vote, you have to think of your circumstances and not necessarily rule on emotion by what somebody might tell you. And what somebody might tell you time for change and who are wrong too long. Check out yourself and check what is in it for you. Because we understood that, and I want to guide person again because that happened in 2008 and person didn't check out themselves. They went along with their emotions. And within days of the result, the first month of the result, the Imani felt the brunt of the thing. And other persons on the safety net programs, remember this time there were the program where persons could have received groceries and so on and milk and everything. All this thing was swiped out because they were considered wastage. And now we have the same narrative here. They're asking for change, but they are being the same. Because they're saying wastage. And they've already indicated to us as a people what they consider wastage. Everything that is being done for poor people, children, is considered wastage because they speak of it. And then when they tell you, okay, when you say, how you go make over 3,000 Imani permanent, they say we go cut out the wastage. So you persons should understand the conversation here at play. You have to understand what is being said. And you have to know what you have to do. You have to know a vote by you is for you. A vote by you is for your children and your children and your family. So you cannot give or empower somebody that you know definitely is not in agreement with what is good for you. So that is the crux of the matter with change. So I hope you listen, I hope you understand. And I say here to persons, NNP folks, we cannot be complacent and sit on the laurels and say that we win 15 two times. You have to go out there, register, and go vote. Folks, we'll take a break and be back.
Give praise, children, yeah. Give praise, children, yeah. Give praise, children. Our Father who has given us His heart, that we cannot feel like we are part of this earthly heaven. Amen. Forgive us this day our daily weakness as we seek to cast the mortal burdens on your city. Amen. Oh, merciful Father, in this bacchanal season when men lose their reason, but most of us just want to whine and have a good time 'cause we're looking for a line because we're feeling fine, Lord. Amen. As we jump up and down in this crazy town, send us some music for some healing. Amen. Well, everybody hand raise. Everybody give praise. Everybody hand raise. If you know what I mean, put up your finger. If you know what I mean, put up your hand. If you know what I mean, put up your finger. And if you know what I mean, then scream. Oh, oh. Give Jah His praises. Oh, oh. Let Jah be praised. Oh, oh. Father in His mercy, send a little music to make the vibration raise. So Carnival Day, everybody come and celebrate, yeah. the ragamuffin congregate, yeah. Everybody come and celebrate. And everybody say, eh, 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 I love the country, yeah. Everybody say, eh, 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 I'm feeling irate. Eh, 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 I love the country, yeah. Everybody say, eh, 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 I'm feeling irate. Our Father who has given us His heart so that we can all feel we are part of this earthly heaven. Forgive us this day our daily weaknesses as we seek to cast our mortal burdens on your faithful city. On this lovely day when we come out to play and we come out to sway and we breaking our way, some will say what they have to say, but only you know the pain they're feeling. And as it was in the beginning of Juve, good vibes, the Carnival Tuesday ending. Take it up now. Well, everybody hand raise. And everybody give praise. Well, everybody hand raise. If you know what I mean, put up your finger. And if you know what I mean, put up your hand. And if you know what I mean, put up your finger. And if you know what I mean, then scream. Oh, oh, oh. Give Jah His praises. Oh, oh, let Jah be praised. Oh, oh, Father in His mercy, send a little soca to make the vibration raise. So Carnival Day, everybody come and celebrate, yeah. Everybody come and celebrate, yeah. See the ragamuffin congregate, yeah. Everybody come and celebrate. And everybody say, eh, 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 I love the country, yeah. Everybody say, eh, 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 I'm feeling irate. Eh, 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 I love the country, yeah.
Yes, folks, we're back. To the listeners of CRFM, C Styles Carrico, Real FM 91.9 and 91.5, and all listeners on the social media platforms of Real FM. Cynthia Bartholomew out there in Baltimore. Morning, have a blessed day, man. Oswin Lewis, thanks for listening. I welcome the fact that critics are listening to the program. That speaks volumes. But I just want to leave something here with you, Oswin Lewis. Even a fool says in his own heart, there is no God. And even the Ancient of Days said that he would allow people to believe what they believe, knowing that it is not a fact. The fact that one says that NNP only creating poor people, NNP is the only government or the only organization in this country in governance that has looked out for poor people and poor people children. Hence the reason why so much programs and plans have been developed for poor people children. Because what you find happening, persons who come through the ranks of the New National Party came from poor personage. 90% of the people. So they understand the fact about poor people. So when they do things for poor people, it's always come from a good place and not a place of trying to trick nobody, because they understand that needs to be done. And they have the appetite so to do it, to take care of the poor ones in our midst, take care of the less fortunate. So when Dr. Keith Mitchell, the Right Honorable, speaks out the poor and vulnerable, he understands. It's not about making them poor, but it's about finding a way to take care of them. Because some people in this country always want what is for them and what is their rights, forgetting there's those among us who means do afford them to take care of themselves. And the New National Party in government has proven and has that track record of looking after those people and them. So when people say nothing has been done, so much has been done for poor people and poor people children. So to say out NNP making people poor is a narrative you have, Oswin. That's your narrative. I respect your narrative, but I don't agree with it. And I could disprove your narrative. That NNP, unprecedented, has been the only political organization in governance here to look after poor people children. And that is manifested not only in old talk or in election rhetoric, but in actual play by the plans and program. And because NNP recognize that and they have plans and program, people like you saying you want to keep the people poor. But you're not about keeping people poor. Because NNP recognize before you get somebody out of the state, they are to help them. And those plans and programs are developed to help them. And the fact that education is being pushed, the infrastructure of learning agencies is so for the same poor people to big up themselves and to build the capacity. So an empty bag can stand up and you can expect a man to go and fish hungry. So you have to give him some to eat and teach him. Put him through the ropes, and that the New National Party has been doing. So when you push this narrative about poor, who cares about the poor? Tell me which other government in this country apart from Gary that care for poor people. It's not a case of trying to bring in something and trying to pretend. It's not a pretense of the New National Party that care about the poor people. Because it is there for the greater good for the greater number, which the poor people are more. It's not only 4% here. It's our people, the real people, real lives and livelihood. So one who does not understand and who is not a poor people, poor person, would not understand how much it means, how much these programs means for a poor person. So as you may not know, but I'm trying to tell you. So ask a poor person how much the program and plans of the New National Party for people means to them. Ask them to think. So don't take my word for it. Go and do your own research. Because many times we come on social media and just peddle a particular narrative with no fact or what somebody else tell us. Get down to the trenches. Get down to there. And I am a product of poor people, so I know. So when I speak about poor people and knowing how things affect them, what the New National Party is doing for them, I'm speaking from an area of knowing. Not an area of what they tell me. Or area what I read from some people in diaspora writing. Because when I send a barrel for people down here, I turn around and say they're hungry and all that kind of thing. I need to stop that. And put Grenada first. Put the people first. And recognize that the New National Party organization, as I say, not perfect, but is doing what it is, what it takes, and has the appetite, not only speaking, and not only calling for change in a carnival-like way, and jump and wave, jump up and waving. It's about getting and understanding people, and look at the team assembled by the New National Party. Look at the team, the diverse background who understands from the leadership downward. And this narrative that the thing about our leaders have come through, yes, most of them at a tender age. But the difference here is the connecting thing is they had a track record of service to the people. It's not about just jumping on just so and claiming things. As the Prime Minister said, the ground wet. So you have to understand it is not about you hate one man so much that everything you do, you still say nothing has been done. Come on. Put country first. Get away from your emotions. And put the people of Grenada and Grenada first. And once you do that, you'll see things differently. Once you do that, you'll understand the NNP as a government has been doing what is required and what is expected. And the poor people understand and welcome the fact that the New National Party is in governance. So then when election time come and the result come, you, the same set of people, come and say, you don't understand these people and then you're starting to call them names. So that will happen in this election again. But I want people to guard against complacency here. We need to go out and vote. We need to be registered. Everybody should be registered because it's a fundamental right. And our foreparents has went through blood, sweat, and tears, effort, frustration to get us that particular right. So we should exercise that right. And in exercising that right, we have to exercise that right about putting country first. And seeing what is in it for me. And not about emotions. And not about what somebody else says and somebody else's narrative. Look at the facts. Look at the growth of the economy from 2013 to now. Look at the fact that there were plans and programs for young people. Look at the fact that the elderly among us. Look at the fact that there are safety net programs. Look at the fact that infrastructure has continued to grow by leaps and bounds. Look at the fact that we are able to attract foreign investors and mega projects which has created jobs, improvement in livelihood, and disposable income within the community. So the village shop could benefit the poor people. The fisherman could benefit the poor people. The bossmen, the hairdressers, the seamsters, the barbers, poor people. Small business, poor people. So we have to recognize the fact that there are poor people among us who ought to be taken care of. And even when the unions hold government up the truth for increases in salaries and so on, the Prime Minister always say, yes, fundamentally I agree you should be taken care of. But there are the poor people I have to look after too. So I cannot give you the whole cake. So when we speak this narrative about NNP want to keep people poor, understand what here is at play. Understand what the benefits poor people are receiving now. And everything that is done for poor people children, the main opposition condemn and fight it. And call it wastage. And call it people who are inheriting from it greedy and needy. So here, there's one set of people who recognize poor people and recognize they don't have the means to do other than what they're doing. And they have to be taken care of. And every society in every part of the world, there's this thing. So it's not only growing that are poor people, but the government here is ensuring that, hey, I will look after these people and them. I have a moral obligation so to do. So when I ask them to support me in the polls, I also sign a contract with them. When you support the NNP, the NNP will look after you. And that was the crux of the matter, and that is the fundamental difference here. The NNP recognize, hey, I have to take care of everybody. I can't take care of only the clergy and leave out the laity. Everybody have to be taken care of. And yes, sometimes I have to give the poor people a little more. Because the means don't afford them. I have to build a bathroom for them. I have to ensure that the children get money to pay to go to school. I have to ensure, yes, when in educating the children, might have to pay money for them to pay for to do the exam. So it's not about keeping them poor. It's about looking after them. So why I want the government not to give them nothing and call them the names you people call them out lazy and so on? No. We trying to build the capacity of everybody. No one will be left behind. That's the mantra of the New National Party. So we have to take care of everybody. So if you find poor people, children getting a little more, understand why. And don't try to beat up on the fact about that. And most of the times you talk about poor people and you talk about people, the question I need to ask them, what have they done for poor people lately? You know? What have the National Democratic Congress done for poor people, children lately? Other than try to take them on a ride. And that whole story with the Imani is one I want people to understand. In 2008, the same story was said to the Imanis. And as they got into office, they tell the Imani, we don't use for to go home. They come back now with the same story. And they talk now they want change. But the same story they come back with, we go make all of value permanent. So somebody might say, well, how did that go happen? you say they cut out all the wastage. But when you don't tell the whole nation, all the safety net programs for poor people children is wastage. So you don't establish what is wastage already. So poor people children have to understand what is at play and recognize which government is for poor people and poor people children. Which government recognize that they have a moral obligation to look after those who can't look after themselves. And at the same time, creating an enabling atmosphere, creating stability so those who help themselves could thrive. And need is something that has to be recognized. There's a difference between want and needing. And the New National Party recognizes those who have needs. And this is being addressed. It is being so addressed that person saying it is about election. When they realize the price on basic items that the poor people does do every day because they don't have the ability to always get barrel and things coming out of way. They say, okay, we go regularize price on it. That is for poor people. That is helping poor people, not about keeping them poor. When they recognize, well, they might have a little vehicle, or a farmer might have to buy gas to run a pump and thing. They cab the gas. That is for. And things have been done. The ordinary man who had to pay quarantine and credit and say the bill go up high, and something has been done. So in recognition of poor people and in needs, and for those among us who needs to afford them, the means doesn't afford them, this government recognizes them and haven't left them out and haven't make excusing and haven't said the other government in do for us so we can do. They have a moral obligation, according to my friend Kennedy Boudlal, to take care and look after these people. And that is being done. So when NNP asks for you to return into government, it's not just about having a blank piece of paper and saying, when we get there, we go do that. They have been performing, they have been tried, they have been tested, and they passed with good grades. Because we could testify and we could see. But the narrative of nothing is being done is just a narrative. Who say nothing is being done have nothing to offer. If they have something to offer, they only say nothing has been done. So offer more than old talk or rhetoric or your own narrative to the people of this country and understand that greater is for all of us. All of us have to thrive and live here. And the New National Party, recognizing that, has created that stability, that state of stability where one feels comfortable. Even when crimes are committed, the RGPF is so equipped to detect and bring the perpetrators to justice in a very short time. A track record unmatched by many other countries, even in the region and outside. And the New National Party ensure that training at all levels is being received. Ensure that 850 persons during its watch has been enlisted. Job creation. And even when the jobs is being created, ensuring that salaries are paid on time, every time. Allowances to match. So when you talk about nothing has been done, you need to explain to the people what you mean by nothing. When you say you want change, you need to explain to people why you want to change from stability, why you want to change from things happening for poor people, children, why you want to change from having increases every year for public workers, why you want to move away from having plans and programs for young people, even as so much as to make them self-sufficient and build their own capacity in terms of education one, and in terms of them accessing funds. The program for the youth business, youth vibes, the FLY program, building up the capacity of young men, because we realize and we just see who the young women outdoing the men. In recognition of that, the NNP is the one bringing the plans and program. And you see this fallacy that you only have to be in government to do things for the people is just how old talking. Because if you so love this country and you so believe in the people of the country, why wait to get in governance to help the people? So does helping the people tie to only governance? So only the government of the day that's up to help people. So you should prove to the Grenadian people that you're ready to help people. And don't say when we get there. So don't go by people and tell them, oh, you and the Prime Minister is good friend and he don't do nothing for you. When we go there, help them now. If you see they have an industry where you say, oh, but you're doing something good, and you're causing them fruits and things to be preserved, don't say you and the Prime Minister is good friend and he don't do it for you. Put your money where your mouth is and show from now. Show us you have the appetite and the ability to help now. So you could only help people in governance. So if you never inherit the seat of governance, you wouldn't help nobody, and you'll continue to say that nothing has been done. You prove to the people that you could get things done for them, even out of governance, and then the people will say, we could take that man seriously. That man mean well. That man wants to help us. But you're going around peddling this narrative, or NNP want to keep people poor, and NNP has done nothing. The evidence goes contrary to what you're saying. And that is the crux of the matter. And that's why I'm here, one of the reasons, to let those who forget, remind them. And those who don't know, to let them know. So when they have to make that decision, which would affect them, their lives and livelihood, would affect the children and the children's children, their friends and family, they have to make a proper decision for the country. So it's not here about rhetoric. It's not here about pushing a particular narrative. It's not here about... So, and what is instructive to note, folks, there is this narrative peddling that a lot is being done now because election is near. But what he begs a serious question, The National Democratic Congress, you only hear about them when they think an election is near. Other times you don't hear about them. Other times they don't care about the people. But when it comes time, and if it's hereby we go have opportunity, let me make ourselves visible and then we forward. You have to show people that you care. Love and loving people is an action word. You have to show people you care. And Dr. Keith Mitchell, the Right Honorable, and the team of the Union National Party has been doing that even in and out of governance. And even when persons are brought into the team, they comes in with a record of service. They comes in a record of love for people, even when they were not in governance. So it's not about only being in the corridors of power to show people that you care about them and you could help people. It's showing people that you have the will, you have the appetite to look after them. It's not about, on one hand, every organization you represent is against the people. And then all of a sudden you come and tell the people you love them now. Your track record is one against the people. Whose interests would you serve? Would it be the people, or the few, or the 4%? These are the questions we need to grapple with. Instead of talking about what NNP has not done or they don't do nothing. That is not the issue. The issue here is what you have to prove to the people, that you have what it takes, that you have the appetite to take care of people. And not only go around and tell people when we come, what we go do. Start now. You don't go in and trying to have discussion with people and buy one malt and drink and leave their mouth dry and tell them that you love them. So when you come and they ask what you will for them, you tell them, don't worry, man, when we come. Not so the thing now work. You have to give people appreciation that you know what you're about. It's not shooting things anymore to sound good and saying you're going to make everybody permanent knowing fully well you cannot do it. And that's what is the crux of the issue. And NNP has always backed up its speech with action. And that's what is love for people. And that is how you love poor people. You don't only tell them, vote me and thing. You show them. And even in the face of many beat up, when you're calling all the plans and programs for poor people, children, wastage, the NNP continue to improve, to increase, because you recognize they must do it. Because that moral obligation to everybody in this country is something. The love for people. So it's not when you come and you're talking this thing and them about so on and you're trying to chew the shades on them. No, you don't do that. Because the people know. As the Caribbean say, the people know. Don't think they don't know, you know. They know, like they will tell you, a man might not remember what you say, you know. But you go always remember how you make him feel. And the people know how NNP making them feel. So now you're saying I don't understand why they keep voting for NNP. Because they know NNP at the back. They know how NNP does make them feel. They know when they have the issues and they go to NNP, something will be done to address it and not excuse me. So the people know. So you keep saying after every election, you keep saying why they keep voting NNP. That is why. Because they know. They know you're serious. They know people who support you as an organization only beat up on Grenada. They know. So don't think they don't know what's going on. But I just want to impress on the people. Don't get complacent. Don't say we win already. Don't say 15 again. You have to go out. As Barack used to say, go vote. Get registered. Ensure that you know which polling place you have to go to vote, so you know, because we're still in the pandemic thing, we still with the protocols. We don't want to cause undue delay and hiccups. Get ready. So when the time comes, you do what you're accustomed doing. Because I understand, you know. And what they don't understand, they're venting now because they have the ability to be on all social media platforms and speaking. They could push their narrative. However, one day, we the poor people just get to vent and in the polling booth. And we just vent. And then when it happens 15, they just say, oh, they do it again. Because we know the day we have to vent. So people, if they go come and we go to vent and we go to send that resounding message to them, that they cannot continue to come with this thing and tomfool the people. They cannot continue to come and only feel they have to get in government to help people. Help people now. Because people who are vaccinated can't go to work and then come and tell them, no, you love them. No, that doesn't work. Don't cause people to have things in Moonlight City and they can enjoy the thing. And now you come and see the same set of people love them. No. You have to show love all the time, not sometime. You have to prove to the people that you're capable of representing them and not interests of a few, not the interests of the lobbies. And even the fact that you see you want to legalize marijuana, you have to tell people how you go do it and what you go do to create the benefit for the small man. The same poor people. You have to tell them that. Don't just go and tell them something you want to hear. And don't just go and tell them you have to apologize to Rasta man. No. You have to come with more than that. Because the people know. And I can tell you, the Grenadian people have the ability to cut through all this bullying. They have the ability to understand what is at play. But I'm here just to energize them. I'm just here to remind them and to give them food for thought. And to give them food for comfort. So when the day comes to vent in the polling booth, they'll vent in the proper way. And just to remind them of what is being done for them, by their own people, of them. So when we talk about ponies, yes, NP understand the poor people. NP understand they have a moral obligation so to look after poor people children. Because every time something is done for poor people children, you condemn it. But then after you turn around and tell poor people children, change. Change to what? You could guarantee that you go have stability in the country, because you can't guarantee you have stability in your party. And that is a fact. Because there's voice notes I can't tell about the place, so it's not something I'm making up. Other than the narrative, you just push as speaking facts. You cannot guarantee that you could get 15 candidates, because the Westminster style system, so you must have at least 8 to govern. And that is what the people watching and the people know. Because the people know you're not capable of leading this country. You don't have what it takes yet. I don't know, maybe down the road, on the road to Damascus, a light might shine into your eye and might get converted and to know. But as for now, you don't know yet. You don't ready yet. So don't ask the people to make a decision when you fully well know you don't serious about it. When you fully well know you don't have the love for people. Because the mere fact that you're trying to be the accuser of the brethren and preaching this God, and telling a man, oh, you are the prime minister's friend and he don't do nothing for you. When you get there, you go help him. Help him now. Don't preach discord. Don't be the accuser of the brethren. It's unity we want because we are one family. If you have to protest. If you have to say what you feel, say what you feel. We don't try to bring discord in between anything. But then again, that's what you know. Discord, fighting, infighting, tribalism. That is the hallmark of your party. So maybe I'm just wishfully thinking that you move away from that. You need to change. The change has to start with you. When people see the change with you and your party and your organization, maybe then. But all for now, you need to start there. You have to dance yard before you dance abroad, man. You don't want to go and dance abroad and no dance here. Nah. The thing doesn't work like that, man. So, folks, I'm here just having this conversation with you. Bringing to you real issues. I'm not trying to go high above or trying to break it down so the simplest man could gravitate towards it. Yes, friends, we'll take a small break here and be back.
1, 2, 3, turn.
One love. Ballet man looks so, but he's Rasta too. It's not how you look, but the things you do. Now, just say share your love to your brother man. Treat him kind and stretch out a helping hand. But you claim you're proud, you're kind, you're gentle. I hear you quoting words from the Bible, but now you're jumping and I back in though. I and I black, you cannot dread. Now you're calling me bald head. Rastaman, I man, have a care. Supposing like me, you just lose your hair. Now, tell me what you gonna do for identity. When your dreadlocks growing inside like me, then we will know who dread and who's faking. Without them locks and flying and shaking. With all that I have said, you would know this I'm man dread, so don't be misled. Stop calling me bald head. One love. Rastaman, ballet man, Jaja said, one love. With the same skin color from him above. Why this big separation between you and me? How can the hair define an identity? Is Babylon war we fighting? But I and I still separating. All the books I've read say we come from one bed. I don't mess with the dead, so why call me bald head? Rasta, I man go long locks to prove I man dread. Now to prove I man dread, I man shave he head. What's inside I man is inside I man too. So you see, I man is no different to you. The same oppression we both receiving is the same burden I and I bearing. I and I dread, I real. Hail Selassie, I Rasta, dread I. Rasta.
Yes, folks, we're back. Listeners of CRFM, C Styles Carriacou, 91.9 Real FM and 91.5, and all listeners on the Real FM social media platforms. Folks, we continue to discuss. Here, the new National Party has performed. And I'll go through some areas so persons could understand. And factual areas. It's not about fly-by-night far-fetched making up. Under the new National Party, we have seen economic growth. The economy has grown. Fact. And nobody can dispute that. We've also seen a reduction in the unemployment figures. Fact. Even if they don't like that, you can't argue with that. Forward planning, because the NNP recognize and has the appetite and know how to run country. The debt haircut has not enabled us to access funds, to treat with and to deal with and to take care of the people. Yes, even the poor people too. And that's a fact. The NNP has received financial support from development partners, the IMF. And we heard the recent briefing from the IMF, the World Bank, the EU, and the Caribbean Development Bank. Over $100 million it was be able to access. A fact. We all know now the homegrown program. So the NNP knows what it takes to govern this place. And that is a fact. The deficit has been lowered. So government could live within it, means so they have to sell things to pay people. That's a fact. Unpaid claims in the treasury. When the government came in 2013, NNP was 110 million. And that has been reduced significantly. Fact. Increase in capital expenditure. We see more roads, infrastructure, so they say, no, they cannot understand roads because they also make all kind of memes out roads and put things and say, oh, no, they're asking if we could eat roads. Unprecedented refurbishment and building of schools in this country, never before. Hospital improvement and health care, unprecedented. You don't hear them talking about it more, plenty now. And because the economy grew, jobs. So when the Prime Minister says jobs, yes, jobs. You cannot dispute that. You might not like that. You cannot argue with that. But we see all the mega projects here, and as a result of stability and confidence in the new National Party. That's another fact. If you don't believe me, pass to St. David side and go all by Silver Sands and them. So when they tell you nothing has been done, ask them about these places and them. And they fight down this place and them, you know. Men go on Grand Beach there and keep vigil. All kind of demonstration. They don't want all kind of things. They want to stall the project. You know. And that is fact. So when you talk about who love people and who love poor people, who love them? Not those who are going to disrupt. And every time a project comes, they're talking about the environment. All know the environment don't matter to them. Let a project go somewhere. All of a sudden the environment come key. Public workers. You know public workers, you know. From 2008 to 2013, nothing iota, nada, zilk you get. The New National Party come and since then, you're receiving increases. Then 4%, then 3%, then 4%. Then $1,000 one-off payment. Yes. And you, the union, trying to block the people pension. The legislation on pension speak clearly. You have to discuss with the government to arrange the payment. It's not blanket. It's not a blanket amount for gratuity of 25%. You know you have to have a discussion with them. But you don't telling your members the thing. You just telling them. But the government still recognize that we have a moral obligation when a man give all the best of his service to the country. So you have a special pension where persons are accessing funds as we speak. And the government say, well, okay, you're getting, if there's any increase or what, you'll get it, so you don't lose out nothing. Back pay, all kind of thing paying. No public service, no person in the public service lose any job. And if you contrast that with the region, the persons in the other countries can say that. And that is a fact. And then you see the NNP don't do nothing. Rebut that. Hope restored. Ask them small business people and them. Ask them men are making blocks and them truck men and them. We have a friend we plan to sell a truck between 47-19. As 13 reach flag dust NNP come back. When the man go the money buy a truck, he say, you mad? I will sell truck now NNP come back. A fact. Men say the blocks can dry now. They make it now, men want it already. So if you want blocks, you have to go and keep vigil out of the black space where to get. And that's what the NNP did here. So it's about poor people and poor people children. NNP recognize what you have to do and doing that. And when all what I'm saying here, go and do your research and try to rebut it because it's a fact. Thousands of jobs and job opportunity for young people. Even the Imani and the workers that they on contract have opportunity to build their own place, buy the land, and improve themselves. Put a roof over their head. That is a fact. A working government and united government, that cannot be said about the Congress. Fact. Putting people first. It's not about selling assets and who taking how much months pay in advance. That's not happening now. And that is a fact. The economy has done better, is doing better, and continue. And that is facts, folks. It's not something about, oh, I just want to make up by the way. And when I walk in, come down here this morning, say, but I go just see that and them to sound good. That is facts. Irrebuttable. You may not like it, but you can't argue with them. And I could give you some other facts, folks, about the Congress. The economy failed under them, and that is a fact. Negative growth of -2% during the time. That is a fact. The unemployment situation during the Congress time, folks, was 40%. Fact. They had to borrow or sell place to pay money. Fact. High deficit of $18 million per month. Fact. Government was living outside it. That was the Congress thing. So that's the change they want. That's the change they want to visit us. Unpaid claims in the treasury. 100 and tell me owed to all local and small business. That's why all them truck men want to sell a truck because they're going to pay. And that is a fact. Little or no capital expenditure. So we didn't see no roads and things fixing. So they couldn't say out eat road and all this product. And that is a fact. Record closure of businesses. Job loss. Fact. Investor confidence was at an all-time low. That was a fact. Public servants was not paid on time and they received no increases in salaries. That is a fact. Fact, government had to pay, when they had to pay salary, assets had to be sold. The youth, the same youth they're talking about now, they lose all hope. The hope was rock bottom. Then he had political infighting, chaos. We know when they expelling party members. And vote of no confidence. The Congress shut down Parliament with the nation business had to be discussed. And those are facts. And that is the antecedents of the National Democratic Congress. When I come and I speak facts. I'll speak to sound nice and look good. And that is the track record of the Congress. So is that the change you want to bring back for us? A failed economy, negative growth, unemployment of 40%, borrow money to pay salary, sell things to pay salary, high deficit, unpaid claims in the treasury, no fixing of roads and hospital, no capital project, investor confidence. So is the change you want to bring to us? Public servants not being paid on time, youths losing hope, political chaos. We don't want that kind of change. I could answer for the Green and public. We don't want that kind of change. I'm recognizing the Dr. Keith Mitchell recognizing NNP as an organization now has to remain relevant in the years to come because he has indicated he's in the autumn of his career and he will soon exit the political scene frontline. He's strengthening the team and bringing people with competence people with a track record of service. He's not a man who just parachute from somewhere and just come down and don't want to learn the ropes, don't want to plan the can, but just end up in the vineyard to pick grapes. No. Dr. Keith Mitchell recognizes that persons of competence has to come. So the legacy of the New National Party goes on. And here today, I'll share a little spotlight on the caretaker for St. George Northeast, Mr. Nimrod Olivier. He's a born Grenadian. So he has his roots in Naval Stringberry here. I would just speak some of his qualifications for you to understand the competence of the man and what he'll be adding to the team of the New National Party. Unlike persons that are added to the Congress, they cannot speak so. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice. He has a Master's in Public Administration. He has experience in the U.S. Army, the NYPD, the New York Police Department, and the U.S. Navy. In the NYPD, he was a lieutenant. So that means he's a man of substance. He's a man who what his salt. And put it in my own twang, he don't ordinary. He's a man of competence. He's a man that brings something to the table. He's a man that not here looking for a work, or looking for a job, or looking for a livelihood. He's here only to improve lives and livelihood, and to be a part of the team to deliver the greater good for the greater number. So he's versed in criminal justice, and that will help us. Public administration, he will help us. Experience in Army, Police, and Navy. And I spoke this morning of stability, I spoke of security, and I spoke of the RGPF. So that guy could be a reservoir the RGPF could tap in for a lot of information and advice. So he's not an ordinary guy added to the team of the New National Party. And that is the hallmark of Dr. Keith Mitchell and the New National Party, able to attract persons of substance. This guy don't come here looking for a worker. This guy is retired, receiving all the benefits and things. But he wants to be a part of service to Grenada. He wants to be a servant of the people. So he's putting himself up. And his competence, because I speak of the team and the diversity of the team, and the team presented to the people, shows, here is a living testament to show that the New National Party is serious about taking this country forward and adding to the team persons of such competence and a record of service. And he has always been part of the community, the Grenadian community, both locally and in diaspora. He's a man who always associates himself in things for the people. He always has been contributing in terms of projects in health. And we make a big deal about healthcare, business, security, sports, culture. We know all about the culture part of it. Moonlight City. We know White in the Moonlight. So he's a guy who hasn't been away and forgot the roots, who forgot the people long here, who stay away and run him out on Grenada and write all kind of untruth and wrong narrative. He's a guy of the people. He understands the people, the plight of the people. And he's offering himself to be part of the New National Party, offering himself to be part of governance for you, the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So he will bring a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge and know-how, duly qualified and competent. So he's not a piece in the tail addition to the team of the New National Party. And that's what the New National Party is about. The ability to attract people of substance who would contribute and who would make sterling contribution. And yes, he's not a very old fella because the narrative recently has been on age. He's not an old man, I would venture to say. He has been one of service and love to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And not only Grenada, you know. These guys are Caribbean man. When our neighbor Dominica had unfortunately been hit by the hurricane, this guy was part of organizing huge quantity of relief supply for Dominica. So the guy have a track record of knowing. The guy have a track record of love. Yes, love. The guy have a track record of service to poor people and poor people children. So when the New National Party add this guy to the team of the New National Party, it shows stability will continue. It shows security will be improved because of his qualification in that area. So it's not an ordinary addition to the New National Party. So when persons say, oh, the New National Party is a dead party because Dr. Keith Mitchell go whatsoever. No, as manifested by the addition here. Nimrod Olivier. The competence he brings to the table, both experience, both competence, both ability, both qualification, and yes, love of service and love for people as manifested in helping our Caribbean brothers Dominica in the hour of need and sponsoring sporting organizations in this country, health care, business. And even when he was not yet a caretaker in the St. George Northwest constituency, he would always, around the Yuletide, provide hampers of relief to persons who need. In so much as on one of his going around, he recognized that a young guy needed a computer to carry out his studies, love for people again, and love for poor people, children again. He didn't go and tell him, I realize you want a computer, but when I get there, I go help you. He didn't wait. He didn't say, well, I'm not in government, so I can help you. There and then, he assisted this young man. And among many, I don't want to go through everything now. He go take me the rest of the week. Persons he assisted and helped. So this guy have a track record of love, a track record of helping people. And he is duly competent and qualified to add another dimension to the team of the New National Party. That cannot be said about the National Democratic Congress. Sadly so, folks. The 7 of them that they introduced to us, that cannot be said. So here, Nimrod Olivier is asking and is offering himself here. He's offering himself here to the people of St. George's Northeast. He has mentored young Grenadians within the NYPD, the New York Police Department. So he's been a mentor. Apart from being competent, apart from being qualified, apart from being a servant, apart from showing love, apart from showing empathy to the people of Dominica, all these attributes to him, he has been mentoring young Grenadians in the Police Department. He is now offering himself to the people of St. George's Northwest. Fly Jargon, he's offering himself to your people. So you should give him the support. Folks, I enjoy my discussion with you today and will continue next Sunday. So show love. Get registered. And when the time comes, go vote. Love you all.
Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Out of him foot dread, and the man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. You're not here. Instead of cheat and oppress the poor. My God, what a sin thing. I have been get throw one stone, and it bring about the feelings to all wicked men. What a plot, Bingy man throw one stone. Hold not thy peace, O God of my salvation, because the mouth of the wicked and of the deceitful is open. Come with I. Rasta man throw one stone, and it bring a